long time around these kinds of senseless murders. I wrote about, Philando Castile's murder, which really represented in my book, and I wrote about it from the perspective of being one of very few Black people in the office at the time when I was so devastated. So it was so hard to get out of bed that morning, let alone proceed as business as usual. And I wrote about what it was like coming into the office that day, expecting or anticipating that other people might be feeling some of what I was feeling, just as humans, as feeling, thinking humans, and feeling like everyone was able to move on like business as usual. It feels so relevant once again now, thinking, 4 years later, here we are again, but the difference is that the response from the rest of the community, folks who are non-Black, are finally seeing this moment as a wake-up call to get off the sidelines and to get involved and invested in this fight for justice. So I can say that since being in the streets and attending a number of protests, there is something different in the air this time. There are a lot of emotions I think we're all moving through or trying to move through to get towards the collective action that we all need to take. There is so much work for all of us. So I think we're all feeling that pressure, we're feeling that weight, but I think we're also feeling empowered that this time has to be different. It has to be different.
You've been on this. I mean, you really have been not just an inspiration, but you've been offering really education to a whole new generation through Teen Vogue. And you were doing it when it was, now it's trendy, now it's popular, but you were doing it when it wasn't trendy, when it was kind of shocking to see Teen Vogue taking on these issues. Why did you make that choice? Because you're saying other people now are going to have to make similar choices to be a little bit more brave and bold, but you were doing it when it wasn't cool. Why? And talk about that.
By speaking just about fashion, we were ignoring the range of interests that were central to them, the issues that matter to them in the world. And so we made sure that we were creating more of an intersectional feminist focus and that included fashion and pop culture, but that also spoke to intersectional feminism and social justice issues. Black Lives Matter. You're right that there was no model for success for that at the time. There were a lot of people that were like, "Oh, Teen Vogue, about politics, justice issues," and we got pushback. Folks thought it wasn't our place to.
Patrzcie, ruszam się padem. Patrzcie, to jest jakiś dziwny film, nie? Ciekawe, czy po tym będą auta, nie? Emotki nie można tańczyć. Ale ja będę musiał kończyć, bo idę do kolegi do basenu wielkiego, nie? Ale nagram do 4 minut, także jeszcze troszkę. Ale ciekawe, naprawdę. Ciekawe, co po tym się stanie, nie?
Companies are now confronting that same reckoning of what do we need now?
How do we need more right sides to make sure that we're meeting this moment and that we are on the right side of history and that we are better serving our community and our audience, our consumers.
Well, let's talk about that though, because you can actually give some advice to people who are working at these brands, whether they're at the top or whether they're the intern. These brands are going to now have to do some of what you've already done. I mean, when you're a pioneer, that means you've been there, done that. What do these brands need to do to get relevant?